Guardian of the Vigil. Time and time again, you have proven to be among the greatest of the Vigil's chosen.
We're being pushed out from the stations because it's been that popular.
Yeah, there were a few players, so unfortunately I couldn't show it in person, but I can gladly tell you something about it. So.
Thanks very much for taking the time out.
No problem.
I wouldn't. Start off, I don't care what you say, it wouldn't run on my laptop, so it's that bad. So is there any particular, what is the basic premise of Rift and why should I upgrade to get to buy this game?
Rift is one of the more complex MMOs out there. Usually you have in an MMO one class with 3 trees to skill through. That's the standard usually.
Yeah.
With Rift you have 4 classes, which may seem a bit small in the beginning, but each class has 9 souls, and you can collect all 9 souls, mix and match all of those 9 souls, and you can basically create your completely own class. So you can create a mage that can heal by making damage.
Yeah.
You can create a tank that can also do magical damage, and so on and so forth. It's completely up to you.
So numerous combinations of anything. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. You can completely make up your own chart.
Right. What can users expect from Ashes of History, the latest patch?
Oh, a lot. Actually, we will be adding content for smaller groups, like we will be adding chronicles, which are telling the stories of the 20-man raids, what happened to that places before they became 20-man raids.
Right.
And you can do that alone if you're well geared, or with a friend. So you are fighting giant bosses all alone or with a friend, which is quite intimidating and quite exhilarating, basically. We are also introducing veteran rewards. So if you've been subscribing to the game for some time already, let's say 6 months, you will get the first rewards.
Right.
If you've been subscribing for 18 months or have paid for 18 months already, you will get the best rewards we currently have in the game, which include a portable mailbox, which for every MMO gamer is something like the holy grail. If they are raiding and they need some stuff with them, they just send it to themselves, basically.
Right.
We also have coming, there is quite a list. Well, we also have coming, the planar attunement system, which basically allows you to continue leveling your character in certain specifics. So you could put points into your weapon mastery. You could put points into certain skills, like when you want to play a healer as a mage, you may be able to boost your healing stats slightly, and so on and so forth. That's also included in there.
Right.
And there's so much more. You should see the patch logs we have. They are usually way over 10 pages. So those are the main points. Add-ons, actually add-ons. For everyone who has played other MMOs and said, okay, I want to customize more. We will be introducing add-ons. We have actually developed together with our gamers the add-on interface to make sure that we can deliver what they want without making the game exploitable. Too many players always want to automatize, basically, to get the game to play itself, and we want to avoid that while giving the ability to use add-ons. That depends. Our small changes may sometimes seem small to the users, but may need profound changes to the game itself.
Right.
So, for instance, if we'd something that many players always think as simple as the auction house, I like to take that as an example. Not necessarily for Rift, but in general. A small change to the auction house may need a complete rewrite in the worst case scenario. So it may need completely new assets, completely new graphics, completely new code, and so on and so forth. And for a small change that people would never think would take more than a few hundred kilobytes, you could suddenly have a 100 megabyte package. So most of our hotfixes actually are way under that, I think between 17 and 50 meg which is okay. We had some which were bigger depending on what we were patching with it, but usually they are in an okay space, I'd say.
In the light of Knights of the Old Republic and Guild Wars 2, how do you feel that Rift will cope in these newly anticipated games?
We have been pushing out our major patches every 6 weeks, and they have been in great quality. And I think if we keep that quality up, and if we keep that speed up with which we bring new content to our players, we don't have anything to fear, because that is definitely our strength, and that will make people say, oh great, I'll just stay with them, or I'll come back, whatever they want to do.
Right.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't tell you, because I'm only a community manager and not a dev. But from what I know, usually at least the rough outline is always made for years to come, because you have to plan as a company how to go on with the game. Of course, we always incorporate player feedback, so it changes over time, but the rough outline is there for time to come. Actually, we are pretty proud of our boss mechanics. They are pretty versatile. I don't know what has he played or how far have you played in the game so far, because we have 11 5-man dungeons, all with mostly different mechanics. We have 3 20-man dungeons, the latest one with 11 bosses, which are altogether completely different from each other. And there are so many bosses in the game, you can't really say they are all that close to each other. I mean, even the early dungeons, if you take the Frozen Precipice, the last boss, I've never seen something like that as a player, where the boss spawns 3 lasers, and you kind of have to avoid being hit by them, being in constant motion, and still tanking and attacking the boss. So those are really versatile. I wouldn't say they are all too similar to each other. The Master Dungeon is basically another difficulty grade for 5-man dungeons. So when you were running normal dungeons, not an expert mode, but normal, they were relatively easy to get you into the game, basically. Expert dungeons were already a bit more harder. You had to be level 50, you had to know what you're doing. Otherwise, you may have been kicked in the arse, so to say. And Master Mode dungeons will be even harder. So to give a perspective on that, the Expert dungeons give Tier 1 drops, so Tier 1 equipment. The Master Mode dungeons will give raid level equipment, meaning Tier 3. So they will be pretty hard to do. They will be doable for people who want to do them and who want to invest time in them, and who want to get going with raiding, because they will support them getting the equipment for that. So they will like the Expert Mode dungeons. As far as I know, I'm not too sure on that, but I think they also feature new bosses and new areas in the dungeons, like the Expert Mode dungeons did.
When's the new patch coming out?
Next Wednesday to Thursday, actually.
All right, thanks very much.
The gods smile on you, and have sent me with this news that from this day forward, you will be brought further into their light. You will be able to draw on a power as essential as the planes themselves. Use this power to defend Talara and to blaze a path of righteousness in the name of the Vigil.
We must rally and hold back these invaders! Once again, we find ourselves in your debt. So often, where there might have been ruin, you have instead brought us victory. You have never failed to answer the call of the gods. Will you answer again today?